Hey Wargamers, today I'm going to be going over the Archangels and the Archangels formations available to the Blood Angels players in the Shield of Baal Exterminatus book. This is mostly just an opinion bit about the value of the various formations that have the Archangels moniker, and I suppose just a little insight into or for players that occasionally face the Blood Angels, not really familiar with them, so that they can know what to expect should they see, say, a boatload of Terminators on the table, which would be bizarre, admittedly, but hey, it could happen. So I mentioned the Archangel Strike Force detachment in passing in the Exterminatus talk I had a few weeks ago. Just a refresher, it has 16 elite slots and 2 HQ slots with pretty heavy restrictions. The HQ must be a captain, chaplain, or librarian, and they must be wearing Terminator armor. You can use Captain Carlan from Deathstorm in place of a captain if you want. The elite slots, of which there are 16, can hold up to a total of 10 infantry squads that can be Terminators, Assault Terminators, Vanguard, or Stern Guard in any combination you want, and up to 6 Furioso Dreadnoughts. The command benefits are Storm of Angels, which allows you to reroll all failed reserve rolls for Deep Strikers in the detachment, and they only scatter 1d6. Or rather, I should say specifically 1d6 less. So it's Descent of Angels for anybody, not just jump infantry, flyers, and skimmers. The other command benefit is Lord of the Host, which allows you to re-roll your warlord trait if you choose the Archangel warlord trait table, which is all very personal warlord traits. They are fearless, counterattack, re-rolling failed to hit rolls in a challenge. The warlord has objectives secured, which is kind of a big deal because the Archangels do not have objectives secured. The option to reroll all failed morale or pinning tests taken by your Warlord's unit or any other unit within 12 inches of them that are Blood Angels models, and your Warlord has preferred enemy. So, like I said, very much like the personal command traits, or personal traits from the regular rulebook. But generally speaking, I like these ones a lot, so it would not be a bad thing to be able to have more freedom in your warlord trait. Starting from the first of the Archangels formations to the last, we have the Archangel's Orbital Intervention Force, which is comprised of 3 Terminator squads of any type. There are no restrictions on them, so you can take them in squads of 5, squads of 10, equip them with whatever you would want to equip your Terminators with. So obviously a bit of a pricey formation with not a whole lot of bodies in it. The one special rule you get is that you make one, they must be held in Deep Strike reserve, and you get to make 1 reserve roll for them. If it is successful, they all come in at once, and then they can run and then shoot if they want to. In my opinion, not the greatest formation, simply because if you really want to take advantage of the special rule, you would be taking a lot of tactical Terminators, which could be fun, but they are incredibly expensive for the amount of firepower they bring to the table, and they're not particularly durable in the very, very AP2-centric metagame that we all play in. So while it's very cool to be able to run and then shoot, it would be way more helpful for these guys if they could shoot and then run. Just because you could drop in out of cover, shoot at things, and then move into cover, or behind something so that you can't be shot at all. Since you're forced to run and then shoot if you want to do that, you're forced to stay out in the open. But that looks like it could potentially be a fun formation to field, even if it isn't particularly effective. The next one is the Archangel Sanguine Wing. This one is composed of 2 Vanguard squads, 1 Stern Guard squad, and 1 Storm Raven. The restrictions on this is that all the infantry squads must be at a squad cap of 10, and the Vanguard must be wearing jump packs. There are a couple of reasons you'd take this one, but it looked really great at first. Then it looked way better, and then I read it for maybe the 10th time and realized that it's far worse. The special rules for this are that the entire formation must begin in reserve, the Vanguard in Deep Strike reserve, the Storm Raven in regular flyer reserve. The Stern Guard must be in the Storm Raven. You can make a single reserve roll for the entire formation, and they can all come in, and you can re-roll that reserve roll if you so choose. So it's similar, although slightly better than the Terminator formation I just talked about. The cool thing that made me get mildly excited and then really excited and then far less excited about this is that the first company armory special rule looks great, then it looks really good, then it looks awful. So this is just baseline a very expensive formation because it's going to be 860 points before you buy any upgrades whatsoever. And the first company armory rule allows each Vanguard squad to take a power weapon or lightning claw for free. And the Stern Guard veterans may take a storm bolter or combi bolter for free, which I initially read as any of the veterans may take this for free. So it'd be a total of 20 free lightning claws or power weapons, or 10 combi bolters, which was obviously incredibly exciting and very powerful, but since they're limited to 1 each, that's a total of 2 power weapons or lightning claws and 1 combi bolter, which is less awesome, obviously. So this particular formation is going to be a decentish choice if you really want to get in your opponent's face with some veterans, but generally speaking, it's going to take up a significant chunk of your army, and they're going to be expensive models at that. So they give you a lot of flexibility with how you can equip your guys, but if you're going to be playing an Archangels list, it's probably going to be better just to field an Archangels detachment and then another Baal Strike Force or just Combined Arms detachment if you want a Storm Raven. The next one, the Archangels Demi Company. This one here is kind of what I foresee people playing if they're going to use the Archangels, because it is pretty well-rounded as far as a veteran army goes. The formation includes a captain or Captain Carlian, or a chaplain. You have 2 Furiosa dreadnoughts and 5 squads of any combination of the squads allowed by the Archangels. So Terminators, Assault Terminators, Stern Guard, and Vanguard. The restrictions are that the captain or the chaplain must wear Terminator armor, just like the regular detachment restriction is. The special rules for this detachment are the exact same as the Archangels, or the formation are the exact same as the Archangels detachment, but you also get stubborn. So that there is mainly the reason why I expect people that are going to be playing as the Archangels to be fielding this one. You get 2 dreadnoughts, which are Furiosa, so they've got the 13 armor on the front. They've got the frag cannon option that they can take, and you have every bit as much flexibility in your army as you would if you're just playing an Archangel Strike Force detachment. But you also get stubborn. The downsides to this, you don't get to bring in a librarian, and like I said before, the only armor you have are the dreadnoughts, so it's going to be also a very expensive formation to take, and it will, like the others I've mentioned already, likely take up most of your army should you choose to field it. And on top of that, once again, very expensive models. You could field entirely veterans if you wanted, and it'd be much cheaper. If you include Terminators, obviously much more expensive, but generally not a bad formation. You get to play kind of red-painted Deathwing, which not particularly great, but if you want to field a Terminator or veteran army, this would be a fun detachment to do that with, and it would likely be the detachment I would use if I had interest in doing that. The last one I'm going to mention is the Archangels just straight up. Much like the Blood Angels Battle Company formation in the Blood Angels Codex, this is a full company, the first company. The formation is a captain or Captain Carlan, a chaplain, 4 Furioso Dreadnoughts, and 10 squads in any combination of the Terminators, Assault Terminators, Stern Guard, or Vanguard. Now, this one gets a wealth of special rules. It just keeps adding on to the ones that we've mentioned before. It has the Storm of Angels, so your guys are going to be able to deep strike 1d6 less and reroll their failed reserve rolls. They have the Lord of the Hosts, so you can reroll your warlord trait if you choose it from the Archangels table. It has Stubborn, so you're always going to be taking your leadership tests at full leadership. And finally, it has Elite Strike Force, where you can make reserve rolls for units from this formation from your first turn. So you could realistically play an old-style Descent of Angels list with this formation using Terminators, which could be a lot of fun, but once again, definitely much more of a thematic fluff army than it is an effective one that you would want to field in a tournament. It'd be very vulnerable to all sorts of weapons that you don't want to be vulnerable to, but incredibly fun. Because of the size of the formation, you definitely won't be seeing it in a tournament, but it looks like it'd be just ridiculous amounts of fun to play in a casual game at home or at a game store. So, just a quick recap. Archangel Strike Force detachment. Looks like it's a lot of fun. You're not likely to see it, but could be a great way to field a Stern Guard army or throw some Terminators in if you wanted to, and it could be a good way to supplement a regular detachment with some more elite troops if you wanted the greater flexibility that you had there without clogging up your slots in a different detachment. Archangel's Orbital Intervention Strike Force, 3 groups of Terminators. They get to come in all at once, then run, then shoot. Looks like a lot of fun to use, if not particularly effective. Same thing with the Archangel Sanguine Wing. 2 squads of Vanguard, 1 Stern Guard. Storm Raven can reroll all of their 1 reserve roll, and they get a handful of free power weapons and combi weapon. Archangel's Demi Company field a bunch of veterans, some Furiosos, and a captain. You get Stubborn. Basically play veteran Deathwing and Deep Strike incredibly effectively. Looks like that one would be a lot of fun to play, but once again, very high point values on their models. Probably not going to see it. And then the Archangels, which looks like it'd be just crazy fun to play, although it'd probably be a 10,000 point army. So there you have it. Next week I'll be talking about the second company formations, the Death Company formation, the general formations, maybe the Flesh Terrors as well, because their command traits, their force organization chart, all that stuff is wildly different from the Archangels. So until then, happy wargaming. Anything that you'd like to hear about the Exterminatus formations, even if it's the Necron ones, I'd love to talk about those too, even though I don't play Necrons. Leave them in the comments below. Until then, happy wargaming.